Okay, students, let's just start again. So we are discussing the clutch disc type. Okay, so here is two type, rigid and flexible. So most of the car which is using that is the flexible type, and the racing car are industrial purpose, are heavy vehicle purpose, are the racing car use the rigid type of clutch disc. So the next is here flexible clutch. So what is the flexible clutch here? So you can see fraction ring is there. There is the fraction ring. There is the fraction ring. Okay, there is the fraction ring, drive washer, facing. So here, what is the meaning of facing? The meaning of facing, this plate or this segment is attached to the drive disc to driven disc when they are engaged. Okay, and this is also, this surface is disengaged when we apply the force. When we apply the force, so this plate is disengaged from the engine, disengage the driven shaft from the engine. Okay, hub flange. What is the hub flange? See here, there is a hub flange is there. The main thing is here, hub flange and the fraction ring. Okay, in the direction, in the direction connect with the inputs of traction ring, in the direction connect with the flywheel and pressure plate. So both are in the opposite direction. Okay, this is the in one direction and the flange hub in the opposite direction. Okay, so clutch placing. What is the clutch placing? This is nothing but the traction material. See, placing. See, this is the fractional material which provide the fraction to stop the vehicle or minimize the velocity of the vehicle. Okay. Numerical spring, what is that? This is the pacing damper. See here, this spring is nothing but pacing damper to provide the spring effect, to provide the pressure to engage and disengage of the clutch disc to the driven and driver shaft. Rotational spring, further damping for the clutch application. Stop pin, see there is a stop pin. Okay, limit the torsional spring travel. Okay, so what is the meaning of that? Limit the torsional spring travel. Okay, the meaning is that this pin is provide a limitation. This pin is provide the limitation to traveling of the spring, traveling of this spring. Okay, rivet, fastener, the facing material to miracle spring. So see here, the fastener which is attach the facing material to the spring, facing material to the spring by rivet. So see, rivet is provided here, which is attached to the spring to the facing material. Okay, again clutch component, continue. So this is the pressure plate or clutch cover. Pressure plate or clutch cover. So here you can see the lever is there. Okay, when we press the lever, then what happens? This segment is upside. This segment is upside. So what happened? This is allowed to disengage. This is the disengage position, and this is the engage position. This is the disengage position, and this is the disengage. Engage position means in this position, the engine power transmitted to the driver shaft, and in the system, the engine power can't transfer to the driver shaft. Okay. So increase the clutch when we press the clutch. So increase the clutch means when we apply the force on the pedal. Okay. Clutch disc on the flywheel can be engaged or disengaged. Okay. Act like a spring-loaded clamp. Okay. See here, spring is there. When we apply the force, then spring is compressed, and this, due to this clutch plate is disengaged from the flywheel. Okay. Now, pressure plate types. Okay. So what is the pressure plate types? Okay, sorry, student, for the disturbance. Okay. So what is the different types of the clutch plate or pressure plate? So Wavy or diaphragm type spring. Okay, use a cone-shaped diaphragm spring for the clamping force. Okay. The main important things in the clutch is that the action or the process by which clutch is engaged or disengaged from the engine power transmission. Okay. So next is multiple coil spring and semi-centrifugal. Okay. So clamping force increase as rotational centrifugal force is increased. Okay. So what is the centrifugal or semi-centrifugal? The centrifugal force is always attached to outside of the center. Centrifugal force is always act from outward of the center. So when the spring is, when the speed is high, then this force is high. When the speed is low, the centrifugal force is also reduced. So centrifugal force is totally dependent on the velocity of the system. Okay. So first diaphragm type, see here, diaphragm like this. Okay. So if you come to the Tuesday and you visit the Tom lab, the diaphragm type of clutch plate is there. The diaphragm type clutch plate is that. If you have any question, then ask your question. Just I share the screen again. Diaphragm spring or diaphragm clutch. So they're the same name. Okay. So this is the block diagram or simple linear diagram, and this is the actual or real diagram of the diaphragm clutch. Okay. So the next is spring type pressure plate. So here what happened? See, some spring is fitted on the plate, and we can attach the pressure plate through this spring. So this is the open. You can see this is the open. Spring is attached to this pressure plate. See, and we apply the pressure. Then this is compressed, and when we release then it release the pressure. Okay. So this is the diaphragm type. So this diaphragm type, what happened in with that? This shape is make a spring effect. There is no need to assemble the spring. The shape is like a diaphragm, and when apply the force, then what happens? Uh, this shape is compressed, and when we release the force, then what happens? The force is released, and the diaphragm is got its original position. And same things done with this spring section. Okay, here the important component is here, that is the cover, pressure spring, roller, and the stud is also uses pressure level spring, release lever, eye bolt. So these, by these we can assemble, and here is the assemble spring type of pressure plate is there. Okay, what is the benefit and disadvantage of the diaphragm?
Just to add. Okay. What is the advantage and disadvantage of the diaphragm type of clutch? Okay. So it is cost effective, means the manufacturing cost of this type of pressure plate is less. That's why this window is always just and uniformly engage and disengagement. Limited spring pressure. Okay, so the pressure is should be limited. Some limited pressure is applied. So this is the disadvantage. Okay, 1, 2 is the advantage, and the third one is the disadvantage of the diaphragm type. Okay, what is the now in the spring type? Unlimited pressure capability is there. Okay, so there is unlimited, there is some limitation is there, like the limited spring pressure. So this there is unlimited capability is available. As spring bear, pressure may become inconsistent. Means what happened? The uniform engage and disengage is there, but the spring different spring, there is not a single spring. So what happened? The pressure difference must be there. Okay, so this is the disadvantage of the spring. Okay, now clutch component is there. What is the clutch components is here? Okay, release throughout bearing. See, this is the release. What is the operated by the clutch link pressure against the pressure plate to release the clutch. Okay, see the block diagram of this. This is the front of the transmission system. Here is the spindle. This is your input, and pivot bearing hub is there, and bearing retainer is there. So you can see this side is from the transmission side. Okay, now clutch component. What is the clutch component is here? Installation pivot bearing. See, this is the pivot bearing. What happened? A bearing cylinder type bearing is there. See, the cylindrical type bearing is there. Installed
into a machine bore. Okay, into a machine bore, you can see in the end of the cranks of a flywheel. Okay, maybe bushing, ball bearing, or roller bearing. So, bush is maybe ball bearing or roller bearing, whatever the type of bearing we can available. We can use both type of bearing, ball bearing as well as